The city that I grew up in won't be the same city that we're going to build. It's going to be different. But cities change. That's part of the DNA of cities. So the transformation is now in effect. It's really happening, and my job is to let the city government catch up to all the other great things that's already happening in Pittsburgh.
And the reality of today is that the automobile isn't the primary source of transportation for anybody or everybody anymore. Public transit, walking, biking, being able to use an automobile and doing it all safely. We've got to update our system.
Our protected bike lanes, we got into the race late. We did our first 3 in 6 months though. And we're looking to do the first 5 miles within 2 years. That will connect into a highway system for bikes that then will connect into our trail system as well, basically allowing you to get from any neighborhood to any neighborhood safely. We're going to be unveiling our bike share program. 500 bikes, 50 different stations that fit in with the plan of the bike highway system to make it even easier for people to be able to get in and on a bike and safely get from one point to another. We're developing multi-modal transportation, the ability for people to get where they need to get by the transportation mode that they use. And you have to do it for each. Some people don't have bikes and they need to walk. You need to make sure that you have that. Some people need assistance when they walk because they're people with disabilities. And you make sure that public transit, automobile, bike, and pedestrian fit into your total budget.
Bill Peduto is the mayor of the future. He gets all of this, and he's in a city with so much infrastructure in the form of communities and place attributes. He can take this city to a new level.
He just dove head first right in, and he's been really making mountains move here in Pittsburgh, and that's not easy. We've seen more progress in the last 9 months than we've seen in the previous 4 or 5 years.
I wanted to be able to see firsthand the Copenhagen story and to be there with bike advocates who could actually teach me about how the infrastructure was put into place, how long it took, where the financing came, all those different parts of the puzzle that you usually don't get the full story to.
We took a study tour of 4 Pittsburgh leaders to Denmark this spring. We went to Copenhagen, we went to Malmö, Sweden, we went to Odense.
Being able to create a bike lane in the street that is still separated by creating a different level that tiers it and almost like makes a wedding cake of transportation from pedestrian to cycling to vehicle, and each having their own area to be able to do it.
We meet with some city staff, we meet with some other experts, but mostly we ride around, we talk, we brainstorm amongst each other, because half of it is seeing how things work there. The other half is, what are you going to bring back home and implement in your city?
The United States has fallen behind Europe in those types of initiatives. Pittsburgh had fallen behind other cities. My job is to have us leapfrog cities. So we're not going to settle at just being able to play catch up. We want to catch up and then go ahead. I've lived here, I'm 49 years old. Never during my lifetime has Pittsburgh grown. We've lost population. I basically thought that I would live in a city that the best I could do is manage decline. Now we're seeing that turn around. We'll have 20,000 new residents over these next 10 years. In the areas of Oakland that I talked about, the university area, we work with the community organizations to give variances to create less parking than the zoning even requires. And the communities out there support it, because what they want to see developed as we're building new apartment buildings isn't a reliance upon automobile that strictly places for every apartment there has to be one parking spot. We have started to allow bike parking to be used within our zoning code as well, to be able to count the spaces that are provided by bike racks as a component of your transportation needs. What do developers see with that? A more profitable enterprise, because a lot of the cost gets eaten up by creating underground parking. At certain times people will throw things out there like those cyclists should pay for their own roads. Well, they do. It's called taxes, right? We know that. It's not about car versus bike. It's about how to create the best transportation system. Don't get drawn down into those battles. Don't allow the debate to be at the baseline. Elevate the debate and start to talk about it in a more comprehensive fashion.
I'm just so pleased to see how enthusiastically he's diving into placemaking, building bikeways, creating pedestrian-friendly environments.
I think Pittsburgh could become the city of the future too, and we're going to see the resurgence of cities in ways in the next 10 or 15 years that we haven't seen in the last 50 years.
To be able to have people that are proud of the work you're doing, I don't care what field you work in, it makes you feel good. To have those same people who had that same thought that they never thought they'd see the city become the city that we knew it could be, makes it even more worthwhile.